In the cold grey winter of 1692, the town of Salem was a place of unease. Whispers of witchcraft had spread like wildfire through the tight-knit community, and fear gripped the hearts of the townspeople. Among those accused was a woman named Eliza Grafton, known for her solitary ways and deep knowledge of herbs and healing. She was no stranger to suspicion, but when the local minister's daughter fell ill with a mysterious ailment, the accusations turned deadly. Eliza was dragged from her small cottage at the edge of the woods, her hands bound with rough rope and her face streaked with dirt and tears. The townspeople, fueled by fear and superstition, gathered in the town square, eager to see the so-called witch brought to justice. The magistrate, a stern man with a cold heart, presided over the trial, where false witnesses and fabricated evidence sealed Eliza's fate. As the sentence of death was pronounced, Eliza stood tall, her eyes blazing with anger. With her final breath, she cursed the town of Salem, vowing that those who had condemned her would suffer as she had. Her words echoed through the square, sending a shiver down the spines of those who heard them. In the weeks following Eliza's execution, a series of strange and terrifying events began to plague Salem. Crops withered in the fields, livestock died without cause, and an unnatural chill settled over the town. The sky, once clear and blue, became perpetually overcast, casting Salem in a grey gloom. The townspeople, already gripped by fear, now found themselves tormented by nightmares. In their dreams they saw Eliza, her eyes burning with hatred, as she exacted her revenge. Children cried out in their sleep, seeing her shadowy figure at the foot of their beds, while adults woke in cold sweats, their hearts pounding with terror. The church bells, which had once rung out clear and true, now tolled with a mournful sound, as if lamenting the town's fate. Those who had spoken out against Eliza were the first to fall ill, their bodies wasting away as they were consumed by the curse. The townspeople, desperate for salvation, turned to prayer and penance, but nothing could lift the shadow that had fallen over Salem. As the curse tightened its grip, the very fabric of Salem began to unravel. Shadows moved on their own, creeping across walls and floors like living things. The wind whispered in the voices of the dead, carrying the sounds of weeping and laughter that had no source. The town's wells, once clear and pure, ran red with blood, staining everything they touched. The town's children, once innocent and full of life, became sullen and withdrawn. They spoke of seeing Eliza in the woods, calling to them with promises of safety and warmth. Some followed her voice into the forest, never to return, while others claimed to hear her whispering in their ears, telling them secrets that drove them to madness. The town's leaders, desperate to break the curse, held secret meetings where they debated how to rid Salem of Eliza's spirit. They consulted ancient texts and sought the help of neighboring towns, but nothing worked. The curse was unyielding, and the town was slowly being consumed by it. As the town descended into chaos, a young woman named Abigail, who had been close to Eliza, decided to take matters into her own hands. Abigail had always doubted the accusations against her friend and had witnessed Eliza's unjust treatment. Driven by guilt and the desire to set things right, she ventured into the woods where Eliza had once lived. The woods were dark and twisted, the trees gnarled and blackened as if they had absorbed the curse themselves. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the ground squelched beneath Abigail's feet as she made her way to Eliza's old cottage. The house was in ruins, the roof caved in and the walls crumbling, but inside she found what she sought, a small leather-bound book hidden beneath a floorboard. The book contained Eliza's notes, filled with the knowledge of herbs, healing, and ancient rituals, but it also held the key to breaking the curse, a ritual that required the blood of those who had wronged Eliza performed at the site of her execution. Abigail returned to Salem, determined to see the ritual through. She gathered the remaining townspeople, those who had suffered the most from the curse, and together they carried out the ritual. The air crackled with energy as they chanted the ancient words, their voices rising and falling like a storm. As the final words were spoken, the ground beneath their feet trembled, and a piercing scream echoed through the town. The ghostly figure of Eliza appeared before them, her face twisted in rage. But as the ritual's power took hold, her form began to waver, and her screams turned to cries of pain. With one final anguished cry, Eliza's spirit was torn from the earth and the curse was lifted. The skies cleared, and the sun broke through the clouds for the first time in weeks. The town, though battered and scarred, was free. Salem never fully recovered from the events of that dark winter. The town's population dwindled, and those who remained carried the weight of the curse's memory with them. The story of Eliza Grafton became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of fear, superstition, and the consequences of unjust actions. But some say that on cold, moonless nights, the wind still carries the sound of Eliza's voice, a warning to those who would repeat the sins of the past. And deep in the woods, where Eliza's cottage once stood, the trees remain twisted and blackened, a lasting scar on the land, a reminder that some curses never truly fade,